Hello, Australia. My name is Dr. Daniel Fox, and I'm looking forward to coming back to Australia in 2018. I'm a licensed psychologist in the United States, and I will be coming to different cities in Australia in June 2018. And I'm coming to talk about the effective approaches for successful change in clients with borderline, narcissistic, and antisocial personality disorders. I briefly want to tell you a little bit about the presentation in the seminar and hope that you'll come out and join me. One of the first things we're going to talk about is the 4 phases of successful treatment. And what this is that we adjust our approach based upon how much time we have with each client. So I like to consider 8 months or less to be short term and 8 months or more to be long term. And there are different issues to address so that we can be the most impactful with the clients that we have while we have them. And we're going to talk about each of these 4 phases and how to maximize our inroads and trajectory for successful treatment. We're also going to talk about the affective and impulsive continuum and where each of these individuals along these different spectrums, antisocial, borderline, and narcissistic, and where they fall, and different behaviors that we can expect based upon where they are along the affective impulsive continuum. We'll also be talking about the War of the Roses. This is the borderline and narcissistic couple. And this is a very unique and challenging therapeutic interaction that creates a lot of stress and tension for a lot of mental health providers. So we'll talk about identifying this type of couple as well as how to be most effective and manage a lot of the issues that will be going on in session. We'll also be talking about profiles within the therapeutic relationship as it pertains to the antisocial personality disordered individual. This will be really specific and important if you work with these folks, because even those individuals that are on the mild to low moderate end of this spectrum can create a lot of challenges, and their perspective of treatment tends to be very unique. So we'll be talking about the mild, the moderate, the high, and the severe along this continuum and how they tend to perceive the mental health provider as well as the therapeutic relationship and interacting with them and how they perceive us. We'll also be talking about individuals with narcissistic personality disorder and their partners. This is really specific and challenging because a lot of individuals that fall along the narcissistic spectrum tend not to come to treatment. So we'll talk about how to work with their partners, working with the individual in the room, but we'll also address the individuals that are along the narcissistic spectrum specifically when they do show up for treatment. And when they do, we'll learn to address and change a lot of those maladaptive patterns that are causing them problems in their personal life, professional life, and other aspects and relationships that they have. We'll also talk about borderline personality disorder subtypes, these 4 subtypes, and we'll talk about the specifics of each, how to identify each, as well as how to work with them. We're also going to talk about working to overcome the internal love-hate relationship. And this tends to fall into individuals that are along the borderline spectrum, and they have this internal hate, this internal conflict. And how do we recognize that internal conflict, and how do we help them resolve it so there's potential less harm, less self-mutilation, harm to others when they're in an internal conflict. And then last, we're going to talk about that perpetuation of success. How do we perpetuate, how do we continue the therapeutic successes that we have? So we're going to talk about that so that when your clients leave, that they're resistant to that regression back to those old default maladaptive patterns that they were in. Please stay tuned. There's a short technique video on mindfulness and using a fidget spinner. So I hope that you'll stay tuned in, and I hope that you enjoy it, and I really look forward to seeing you come out in June of 2018. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you for taking your time to listen to this really short presentation about the upcoming seminar, and I hope that you'll take your time to come out and attend. Now what I'd like to do is go over a mindfulness technique using a fidget spinner. And these are everywhere. They're really easy to find. You can find them at gas stations, you can get them online, just about anywhere. And this one in particular, when you hit it, there's like a little buzzing sound. I'll hold it near the microphone so maybe you can hear it. All right? And what you would do is you would give this to your client, and you would have them just observe, describe, and participate. So what you would do first to observe it is that when you spin it, you would observe it that you could hear the sound, right, of it spinning. And I can feel the vibrations in my fingers. And also the harder I spin it, of course, the faster it turns, but then I feel that vibration even more, and I can hear that sound. I can even feel a little air being pushed on my other fingers. I'm just observing, right, what's going on with the fidget spinner and my fingers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe it. I'm just going to provide the words of my experience. I'm just going to acknowledge what's going on and participate in the moment. I'm going to participate by just allowing, if other things pop in my head, I'm just going to let them flow out. And like rain off a duck's back, right? My grandmother used to say, like being a duck in the rain, that we just let things roll off our back. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spin the fidget spinner, observe as we just focus on the fidget spinner spinning in our fingers. We feel some of the air. We hear that noise that it makes with the ball bearings spinning. And then we just describe it. I feel it spinning. I feel that light vibration on my fingers. I feel it start to slow down if I don't spin it again. And I just participate in the moment, just being part of the experience. And this is a great technique for clients that have low frustration tolerance. A lot of my clients that are along the borderline spectrum or that are inclined for narcissistic rage, I like to do different mindfulness techniques. This is a good one. They can do it while they're standing in line at the grocery store, or perhaps while doing a video. You can do it anywhere, and it doesn't bring it to anyone's attention to you or anything like that. I like to tell them that because you're just fidget spinning, and all you're doing is observe, describing, and participate. You can do it if you're lying at the grocery store, if you're waiting to pick up your kids, if you're waiting for your significant other to call and you're trying to hold back on calling yourself, learning some patience, some tolerance, and other types of activities. Well, I hope that you have found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you at one of my seminars. Thanks, and have a good day. Bye-bye.